The people of Dumbleyung in Western Australia have seen a lot of changes in their town. The once popular lake has now dried up and the population is decreasing. Today we hear about the town's plan to bring people back to Dumbleyung. They're restoring the lake and building a range of facilities. Let's take a look at the story.
Life here in the Western Australian wheatbelt town of Dumbleyung ticks along pretty slowly. That's not unusual for a country town, but it wasn't always the way, because several kilometres away lies Lake Dumbleyung, once a thriving hub for water activities. So much so, it was the site where Donald Campbell set the world water speed record in December 1964. But sadly, feats like this would now be impossible, as the lake has virtually dried up. What was once an oasis is now a salt flat.
Believe it or not, but this used to be a yacht club. In fact, it wasn't long ago that Lake Dumbleyung was a recreational and environmental paradise. But there are moves afoot to return it to its old glories, return it to the times when it was a mecca for tourism in the wheatbelt.
We're really excited about the possibility of returning areas like Lake Dumbleyung in the wheatbelt of Western Australia back to their former glory. That former glory is based around water.
They see the barren banks of Lake Dumbleyung once again being the home of lush vegetation.
Why do we need to have a bare salt lake, which everybody would regard as an environmental disaster and an economic and social disaster? If we can put the water back in these lakes, we can return the wheatbelt to its former glory.
Also planned are fully equipped yacht and water skiing clubs, as well as the most ambitious project, a canal linking Dumbleyung the town to the lake. It's as radical as it is visionary, but Brendan Grills is confident it can work. Locals say Dumbleyung's lost almost 15% of its population over the past 5 years. Go to any wheatbelt town and there's a familiar trend. But Louisa Dare has bucked this trend. She moved here from Victoria and now has a young family. Ms Dare sees the Lake Dumbleyung project as a way to preserve a lifestyle for the next generation.
To have it full again would be the dream, and if there's an opportunity that we can just blend a whole area of environment and recreation and tourism to support the community and for the future, that's what we're really looking for. And if that's possible and if dreams really can come true and we can all have a happy go, then it'd be great.
While the lake is a far cry from what it was in the 1960s, it's hoped the long-term plan will go some way to restoring its former beauty. And with the determination of locals like Louisa Dare, their dream just might come true.
And this is an opportunity that we can see for the future. And if we can get some more enthusiastic people to come out to Dumbleyung and share in this resource and this facility, it'll just be fantastic.
Dumbleyung is in an area of Western Australia known as the Wheatbelt. The Wheatbelt region is in the southwest of Western Australia. At the moment, life in Dumbleyung is quiet and slow. Has it always been quiet?
But it wasn't always the way, because several kilometres away lies Lake Dumbleyung, once a thriving hub for water activities.
It wasn't always quiet, because several kilometres away lies Lake Dumbleyung. The lake was once a thriving hub for water activities. Here, thriving means lively and busy, and hub refers to the centre of activity or interest. The lake was once a busy and interesting place. How has it changed?
What was once an oasis is now a salt flat.
What was once an oasis is now a salt flat. An oasis is literally a place in a desert where there's water and trees. Here, the word oasis is used to describe a calm and pleasant place in the middle of something unpleasant. It's a place where people go to relax. What was once an oasis is now a salt flat. Here, the word once means in the past. In the past, the area was an oasis. A salt flat is a flat area of salt left behind after the evaporation of a body of salty water. In the past, the area was an oasis, but now it's a dried up salt flat. People don't go there to swim or play anymore. But there is a plan to change that.
But there are moves afoot to return it to its old glories, return it to the times when it was a mecca for tourism in the wheat belt.
There are moves afoot to return it to its old glories. Afoot means being planned. If there are moves afoot, there are actions being planned. There are plans to return Dumbleyung to its old glories. Glory can refer to beauty or magnificence. Old glories refers to the lake's previous state when it was beautiful and important. It's more common to talk about restoring something to its former glory. That means making it beautiful and important again. Listen again.
But there are moves afoot to return it to its old glories, return it to the times when it was a mecca for tourism in the wheat belt.
The old glories the reporter is talking about are the times when Dumbleyung was a mecca for tourism in the wheat belt. Here the word mecca is used to describe a place that is the centre of an activity or interest. Of course it comes from Mecca, the holy city of Islam. If a place is a mecca for tourism, then a lot of tourists like to go there. Before the lake became a salt flat, a lot of tourists used to visit and enjoy playing in and around the water. The plan to restore the lake involves building a yacht club and a water skiing club, as well as a canal. Listen to how the reporter describes the plan to return the lake to this glory.
It's as radical as it is visionary.
The plan is radical and visionary. If something is radical, it's extreme or very new. And visionary means imaginative. So the new plan is as radical as it is visionary. It's both radical and imaginative in equal amounts. Let's hear more about the vision for the lake.
While the lake is a far cry from what it was in the 1960s, it's hoped the long-term plan will go some way to restoring its former beauty.
The lake is a far cry from what it was in the 1960s. A far cry literally means a long way. It's used to mean that something is disappointingly different. So if you were disappointed by something, you could say, it was a far cry from what I expected. It's hoped the long-term plan will go some way to restoring the lake to its former beauty. Restoring means returning to an earlier condition. A long-term plan is a plan that's acted out over a long period of time. And former beauty means earlier beauty, the way it used to look, its old glory. Although the lake doesn't look as good as it used to, it's hoped eventually Dumbleyung will be a beautiful oasis. And that's all for today. If you'd like more English practice, you can visit our website. Maybe you'll find something radical or visionary there. English Bites is brought to you by Australia Network. And there are many other English language learning resources available at our website.